So the changes in the branded app that I do like a lot that they have done recently. So these screens that we've got here, you can have screens. I've only got 4 just because it fits nicely. I think you could probably fit like a 5th one. Like if I move this one, I think I have to turn it into, move it up. Yeah, I just move it up. So if I do that, it's going to fit 5. I think 5 would be about as many as you would want to go in that bottom area. But you now have other screens. So think of screens as like kind of mobile app pages, like they're like website pages, but for your app. So you can have these two here, the programs and community are the default ones. So programs is going to show your courses, coaching, podcasts, like your programs apart from community. And you can choose whether you want your course progress indicators turned on or off and mark as complete on or off. And you can choose what you want to call that there. I think it'll default to library, but you can change it in the app. So programs is programs. Community, there's not a lot of customization, just changing the title of it. And you can change the icon as well if you want to. But you can add additional screens. So I've just done mine pretty simply just because I probably want to think about some strategy of how I actually want to use it better. I don't use my app like as a sales tool. I just have the app so that I can learn about it and show other people how to do it more than anything. But if I was going to use it as a sales tool, there's a whole lot more that I could do it. And so all of these screens are built the same way, kind of like blocks on a landing page. So you can have a text area, images, and these ones here are actually products that go through. If someone owns the product, then it will take them straight into the product. So that can be, a nice way that you can set things up. You can have, just different displays, like you can have it horizontal or you can have it on a carousel. And if you've got app offers, you can put those in there as well. And you can add buttons on there, images, video, like there's a few different options that you can put in. Even you can embed code if you want to, which is nice. So within the actual, the other screens, what you can do is you can create other screens. So you could effectively create like a very lean version, mobile version of a website or a very lean sales page or something like that with any of these other screens. So these other screens will all be live. You can link to them from here. So you could make one of these buttons, for example, link to an app screen. So you could link it to another screen. So that's how you can there's no option for a menu or anything like that, but you could have buttons with options that link out to then other app screens. So instead of it opening on a website, it's opening within the app. So it's a truly app native mobile first experience rather than being a website page that's viewed on mobile. Like you can really sort of make it, specific for mobile. And then if there is something that people access, they're accessing it immediately within the app rather than going to a browser window and back in. Any of the buttons or images, you can link to a URL, you can link to one of your Kajabi website pages, landing page, a blog, or like I said, one of the other app screens. One of the things that is really cool about the app screens, where's the one that I did? So I've done this little test here. Also, hang on, before I do that, I'll show you. There's now some templates, which I think is one of the most helpful things I've done because it's really hard to kind of think, unless you're that way inclined, like what do I put on one of these app screens? So one of the things that I would suggest is like go and add these in so that you can get some ideas for different like layout options and different types of things and also how they've done it. For example, this is an image block. There's a text block underneath. These are image blocks, that have been created with a graphic that has text on them. So when you go into it, like this whole thing here, that's a graphic. This is a text block. These are graphics. These are images here and a title. This workshops, these are images. So you can sort of see how the page was built. Like this is a button, this here is an image. So using these here can sort of give you some ideas. Like you might go, oh, I like this. How did they do that with life coaching and meditations? So these could then go to either an offer. They could go to an offer where it does open up on your site and actually is processed through your site. If you had that attached to an app screen that had a course on it, like you could have, if you had app offers, have these connect to different app offers. Like I like that there's, options, and then this sort of gives you ideas. This is actually a graphic created with the learn more button in the graphic itself. So it just can help give you ideas. But with this one here, what I have done is I've actually used the new feature on the app, which is variants. Hoping that it's saved. Yes. So of this page that you're creating, you can actually have a different experience for people. Like, for example, I'm showing this specific page, this version of the page, to people who are current members. I did Unicorn Heroes because I did it in a hurry to change it to Kajabi 101. And then we have a different version where it is for not members. So this one may be more like a sales page where you're actually directing people to buy, whereas this version for your members could be more like, hey, here's how to access everything in your membership. Like, there could be a link to the resources and to the courses and things like that. Because if there are programs that's it's going to open it up within the app, like the things that they already own. So it can be a really nice experience, so that then it's going to show them, it's customized content depending on a situation. However, the situation is basically every single filter that you have in Kajabi. So you can create a filter, and if you don't already have the filter, you can create a segment, and in that segment is any filter. So you can base it on activity. So, anyone who's been on the site or not, anyone who has used or not used a coupon code, on specific custom field answers, on their email activity, if they've clicked a specific link in an email, if they've signed up for an event or not signed up for an event, filled out a form or not, but even customer lifetime value. Like, there's a lot of, you could have a screen that only shows up if, they're a really valued client and they've spent more than 10 grand or something. Like, there's, I have to think through. I almost think it would be, I may at some point do some kind of like little workshop or training and just brainstorm ideas for how you could use these screens. But it's a really, really powerful if you are using the branded app to be able to make that not just a unique, but a much sort of more nicer mobile native. Yeah, so that's some of the changes in the branded app, which I hope is helpful and useful and might help you be like, oh, I could use the branded app in cooler ways.